welcome back to Apolitical Corner with me, Heath Ryan Doy, and co-host, lovable, uh, co-everything, Matt Palmer. How are you
What's up,
doing?
guys?
All right. I think since I'm going back to work and you do work, let's do that exclaimer. Let's do that notice. Yeah.
Here, hold on. Let me turn my fan off.
All right. All right. Yeah, let's do that. Notice that we should have been doing. I should have been doing that shit a long time ago when I was starting to do this social media
Oh,
platform.
that's great. That's all
So
right.
that statement is that this show does not and is not espoused by our employers. Our views are our own,
Right.
mostly because no one wants to get fired.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
um, so before we go into the sessions, I'm going to start calling these little things bills. So before we go into the first bill, um, how do you like it? You think this is good?
Yeah.
All right, all right. Uh, so it's gonna get what do you call that? Because I don't have a editor on my
Mhm.
on this laptop because nothing goes with XP. We're gonna do it like this right now. A little bit later, I'm gonna start adding music to it. Maybe get a little bit of flavor for the intro, a little flavor
Okay.
for the outro. You know, I'm not gonna cut what we say. I refuse to. That is one thing I will never edit, no matter how long this goes. I really don't care. um, but so depending on how long the first season takes, because we're at episode 2, and I
Hmm.
want to try to cut it off at 22 or 23.
Okay.
The only mitigating circumstances to not end the season is if we fall into November. Then I'm going to extend it until the election is over.
Okay. So we can have episode 23, part one, part two, something like that, maybe.
Yeah, I mean we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Yeah, if we step into the elections, if that's when the season's supposed to end, I'm going to continue it until the end of the elections.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying, you know, we'll give you a break because this crazy train,
Yes, indeed.
it never leaves. It never goes back to station like it's supposed to.
Oh, never does.
Mm-mm. That's why I said I'll give you a 2 week break, and then we can, if it's before November. Uh,
Okay.
well, I mean, I'll let you determine the break you
All
want.
right.
Um,
Okay.
all right. I know
Yeah.
you're biting at the, you're chomping at the bit. I
Oh
just
no,
want,
I'm all right. I'm okay. I'm just,
yeah,
going along for the ride, man.
I know. I mean, we thought of this years ago, though.
Yeah, we did.
And we
This
never
is.
thought about breaks or anything like that.
Mhm.
Um, so I was just wanting to let you know that because I'm thinking um I want to try to do something to where at least in November we meet up somewhere neutral, watch it, do a live stream together.
Of the election. We
Yeah,
should do the election.
yeah,
Yeah.
and just meet up somewhere, do the live stream.
Okay.
I'll take the day
All
off,
right.
um, so that we can
Live.
do that. Um,
Jump on it like uh maybe one or two on the election day and kind of just, you know, check out the election and so forth and so on. And as it winds down, we'll just stay live, type
Yeah.
of thing, something like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Um,
It's gonna be a shit show.
it is. It is. Yeah. So, bill number 1, Confederate flag controversy. So I like to do outlines, so I don't do scripts.
That's cool.
And again, because we all know about my crazy train, who knows if
Yeah.
I'll follow these outlines or not. But
Okay.
all right. Let's get your view.
Well, to me, it's it's counterproductive. I mean, because Germany doesn't fly a Nazi flag.
Mm-hmm.
It was a country that was going against what this nation stands for today. And so where I try to have the conversations is when I like to just talk to people about the history of it, what it means to them. And they say things that I understand, but they don't take into an account like how the Nazi flag was very offensive to Jews. The Nazi flag, swastika, how it's very offensive. They don't take an account of what it means to other people, what it represents to other people. So, I mean, my whole thing is, I don't really care for the stars and bars flag because, it was associated with, it's almost it runs synonymous with lynchings and the Klansmen and any neo-Nazi group. It's synonymous with that. And also, too, I feel like it's disrespectful to the American flag because it's not a flag that, hell, if the South wanted to fly it all you want because that's the flag of the nation, you know what I'm saying? But they didn't. So, I just don't understand it. And it's like seeing neo-Nazis over here with the damn Nazi flag. Like, why? It has, I just, it's just hard for me to understand. It's hard for me to grasp because when I hear them talk about, what it means to them and stuff, they're like, oh, Southern pride. Well, what the fuck is Southern pride? To me, Southern pride is what? Like, what is it?
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard for me to understand, it's just hard for me to grasp the concept because you have these pro patriot people and you're flying a flag that was like, that's not patriotism.
I've never understood that. You're like, we're patriots. Like, no, bro.
Yeah, and it's being said, and it's like, no, it's not.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, because I think it's hilarious because they well, first of all, they're using a fucking battle flag. So that'd be like us flying "Don't Tread on Me," the snake "Don't Tread on Me," the Gadsden
Yeah,
flag.
yeah.
That'd be like us um, doing that because we did. That was a battle flag, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah.
was flown on ships, and it was an unofficial flag. Um, and but no, yeah, that'd be like saying, "Oh yeah, Navy culture right there. Don't tread on me."
Yeah.
I
Right,
mean,
right.
it's a regular occurrence. Um, But the fact that people confuse that flag so bad. First of all, that's a Robert E. Lee creation.
Mm-hmm.
And that was created, well, I wouldn't say so much him, but it was approved by
Right.
him.
Right.
Uh, it kinda is how the stars and bars were thought of, but you've seen the actual Confederate stars and bars.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it doesn't look too far from that except for the white background.
Mm-hmm.
You got the white stars, blue
Yep.
St. George cross,
Right.
and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing special. Then you got the Army of Northern Virginia that comes out with the one that we see now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I mean, that is very emblematic that that flag still persists even to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, I would be like, oh yeah, no problem.
Right.
Let them. I mean, I still, and I brought this up with the other podcast, the military veteran podcast, and you know, I have grown to it's just why that's a traitor's flag.
That, to me, that's how I see it. That's how I see it, and that's why it's hard for me to grasp that concept around it, because most of these people that not all, most of these people that agree with this flag want to fly it, they run synonymous with patriotism and, you know, all that, everything else that goes along with that, white supremacy, et cetera, et cetera. But to me, it's contradictory for me, because it's like, how can you be a patriot and you're flying a flag that it just it's the measures are so counterproductive to me. And that's where I feel, because I have friends of all walks of life, so I asked them, "What's up with that? What man? What's the deal with that flag? Why is it such a thing for you guys to just, you know, you just have, yeah, you just have to have it?" And he said it was Southern pride, and I said, "Well, explain to me what Southern pride is." He didn't really have a good explanation, which tells me that he was just spoon-fed bullshit from his parents and so forth and so on. And maybe it's a culture of life, but I feel like if you're going to stand behind something, at least have, don't just blankly stare at me and be like, well, it's just Southern pride. What the fuck is Southern pride?
Well, I think what people don't realize is we've been spoon fed this shit since the Wilson administration, even before
Right.
that.
Yeah.
What people don't get is the lost cause narrative was never a thing right after the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knew what the Civil War was about.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I have to redo my video because I was going to do a rant on the flag and what
Yeah.
it meant. But the Civil War wasn't started over states' rights. It was started over the fact that they thought Lincoln was going to go into the White House, do the Emancipation Proclamation right there on day 1 to 100. That was going to be the whole platform. So they're like, fuck it.
Right.
Nowhere in our Constitution does it say that a state can secede from the Union. So from day 1 of his presidency, it was less about freeing slaves and more about getting the Union back together. Let's sort all this out back in the legislature.
Right.
Which, why not? That's your fucking job. That's what you're supposed to
Mm-hmm.
fucking do.
Right.
You also have the fucking Supreme Court that until then was just a little court that was like, oh, can we make our decisions now?
Mm-hmm.
The Supreme Court that we have today because the 1850s, when they allowed martial law, when they allowed a lot of things to slip.
Mm-hmm.
That's also a reason why we have posse comitatus. Believe it or not, I didn't read. There's a lot of stuff I learned in the military, being an MP, right? That I
Mhm.
forgot, and so I'm looking this shit back up. And yeah, one of the reasons why they no longer want the military to be a part of domestic affairs was because they were doing tribunals back in the day.
Mhm.
You didn't go to court. You went to a
Right.
military tribunal. And then you were given a military punishment. I think people forget that, and I don't even go with the whole, you know, they were considered criminals until they
Right.
blockaded the South. When they
Mhm.
blockaded the South, Lincoln finally had to give up the ruse that they were not fighting another nation.
Right.
Oh, and there's a nice podcast called the Civil War Podcast. Gives a
Yeah.
lot of background of the Civil War, so
Yeah.
that's why I'm more understanding of, shouldn't probably fly it.
Right.
Not only that, it's a battle flag.
Yeah.
I fucking hate it when people are like, that's the flag of the Confederacy. No, the fuck it isn't. No.
And see, and when they say that to me, that's where that's where I just stop talking, because then I know right away they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, because it
It's just,
isn't. And it's funny because if people paid attention, they'd know what it looked like.
mm-hmm.
It was so damn. Like when I looked at it, or I think me and you looked it up.
Right.
Actually, when we had this discussion years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and you looked at it, and you're like, "What?" You're like, "What's the difference then between the Confederacy at that time and the U.S. flag?" I'm like, "Nothing." I'm like, I can see why people were so fucking confused.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, and then you get, it's just like, it's like, oh my god, it's like, what the fuck, people. But here's so if we pinpoint what Southern pride would mean,
Yeah.
we'll knock off the whole slavery, but I would say independence.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we in the Revolutionary War,
Right.
a lot of fighting happened in the South.
Yeah.
Instead of the North. They were fervently for independence.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say Southern heritage would be one of independence, one of we can get this done. I think that's where a lot of our work ethic actually comes from.
Right.
Believe it or not, a lot of the values have came through each and every community,
Mm-hmm.
whether we like it or not. God, country, family. Those really weren't values espoused by the North.
Mm-hmm.
Those were either values brought in from other countries because of the immigration waves or from the South.
Right.
So, in saying all that, and maybe you could take that to your buddies, Southern pride, and be like, well, I just got told what Southern pride is and can be. Here, you can steal his idea, but
Right.
never less that flag should only be flown in your residence, not in public.
Yeah.
Your residence.
Yeah. There's a guy in my route who has that flag, and he is pinned into the walls of his garage and stuff, and he flies the United States of America flag outside on his front porch.
Well, I mean, you see,
Huh?
we were given inalienable rights for a reason.
Right.
All right. And
Right.
that was so that we could do what we wanted within reason on our own property. So to me, like I was talking about it
Mm-hmm.
with one of my interviewees, and I told him, I said, you know what? If service members want to have that flag, fine. Do it at
Mm-hmm.
your place of residence, not on the base.
Right.
Keep that shit off the base. It is not that fucking hard. It is not. It's not a con. It's not. It's a lack of common sense, is what it is.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree with you more because, especially like when you, man, I can't. When you see some servicemen and servicewomen, and they're adamant on about that flag, I just scratch my head. You know, I just don't get it.
Well,
It's like,
we
how
grew
can?
up in a revisionist society. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Is it's not what it was. They
Mm-hmm.
switched it around in academia.
Right.
Which academia holds the rights to if they want to. I mean, who knows how much of our stuff has been whitewashed.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's hilarious how people are melting down about truths. And it's like, no country will ever have a nice start through niceness. It doesn't happen. Just like to keep your country together, some kind of patriotism has to start.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that flag was not the start of patriotism.
No, it wasn't.
The flag that we have now, the national flag of the United States,
Right.
is the flag of patriotism. You're gonna say something?
No, I'm just listening.
Okay. That's the flag of patriotism. But either way, a compromise I will make to this side is in your residence.
Mm-hmm.
Don't fly it outside. Don't fly
Right.
it on the flagpole. Put it nice and neat up against the wall, like the guy on your row.
Yeah.
Garage, fine. Yes, there you go. People can see it. Yes, but it's on your property.
Right.
It's not out and about on a bumper sticker. And one other thing, I get it. This is where my sarcastic self just naturally comes in, right? I would most definitely be one of those people flying that fucking flag.
You would?
Huh?
You would?
Yeah. Just to be a sarcastic ass, and you know
Oh,
that.
yeah.
You fucking know that.
Yeah, I
would
do.
that. I would put on robes. I would do a lot of shit I'm not supposed to. Cinco de Mayo, I would be in a French military costume, parading around my neighborhood. My wife says, no, don't do that. And I only do that out of respect for her and our neighbors.
Right.
But I really would. I would find, because it's we can't escape what happened in the past.
Oh, we can't.
Good or bad, we can't escape it. And you will have all sorts of views. And that's the good thing. And I believe that's also why we created this podcast too. Years ago, as a thought and debates that we had in the break room.
Right.
We saw eye to eye sometimes, but not all the time. And no matter how much revisiting we went through, we agreed to disagree, or we just kept trying to find a way to sneak and weasel and come around. But No, it would be boring if everyone had the same idea. Um, if we all went lockstep key, uh, it'd be horrible. I
Yeah, it would be.
It would be horrible.
I
I,
agree.
that's and yeah, no, it's never going to be perfect. But just with the evolution of politics, um, I believe in giving some ground, but not each and every little morsel of ground.
Right.
One would be like the okay sign right here. You ever seen this one?
Yeah.
They call that a white power sign now.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, do I don't know. I'm still, the jury's out for me on that one.
But
Like,
you see what I mean, though. We can't
yeah,
give each and every ground, though. We can
yeah,
come up with a border because
right,
we all used to just put that down by the thigh,
yeah,
you know, or
yeah, yeah. We used to play that game and shit,
yeah,
and
we
yeah, yeah,
did that like that.
yeah. I know. And now,
So I mean, and so I mean,
what, what's your take on that? What do you feel, man? What do you think
I
about
was pissed because I was watching the Army Navy game, and when I
it?
saw that, I was laughing my ass off. I was like, "Oh, that's hilarious!" I'm like, if he looks at a screen and notices that, he's just got it, on the break. Just,
Yeah,
but no, I'm not gonna give ground to stupid,
right,
baseless shit. All right,
right.
Indians from India do not give ground uh, on the swastika
Mm-hmm.
because that's Hindu religion right there.
Mm-hmm.
That is their religion.
Right,
Who gives a fuck? I
right.
shouldn't say that. If it's
Yeah.
if if you've actually seen the swastika of Hindu belief, it is the weirdest thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a gay Nazi.
Mm-hmm.
It really it's a rainbow of colors,
Right.
and it's elongated. So instead of the it's elongated legs.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about because
Yeah, I'm
I've
sure you've
heard
seen
that
that.
was from that culture and it turned into what it is why it's
And I
known
mean,
now.
I get, like you said, I get it, be nice to some people, but the Hindus, you know, yeah, it sucks, you know, because that is part of their religion. So now we're going to violate our First Amendment here in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what's great about about us and you know is that they can take is that we can have Hindus that have that flag and that symbol, and Jewish people are like oh yeah, this isn't the image that oppressed me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, no, never mind. Huh.
What's up?
They literally oh, except for the dots, but yeah, they literally took it
Mm-hmm.
symbol by symbol.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, 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 no. There
Most
are
of it
some
though.
variations of it.
Yeah.
Um,
As with a lot of stuff. But
Hold on. I'm about to fuck us up. So, oh shit. All right. So, if you Google Hindu swastika, you get the Nazi, the Third Reich symbol, and the Hindu symbol. Eerily, but thank God that they have dots in between. But as you can see, it's not rigid.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and that's more lifelines, if I believe. So you see, I mean, no one's gonna look at Hindus doing that and be like, "You're a Nazi."
yeah.
No, and if they do, and on honestly, a buddy of mine went through this shit. He said, "Am I racist because I have a swastika painted in my basement?" Now, and you could I'll tell you his name after the show's done, and you can look him up. But oh, everyone went on him. You're racist. How dare you? You're
Right.
you're brown. They believed in white power and all this, not
Yeah.
realizing, well, he's brown. So what does that mean? You know?
And nobody stopped to think, did
No,
they? They
no
just
one does. And then someone's like, "Oh, well, I know that it's for East Asian nations, but they shouldn't be able that shouldn't be forgiven as a symbol." It's like, what country do you fucking live in?
well, that was actually, I mean, the swastika, Hitler's version, was taken from, it
Yeah,
was derived from,
yeah.
oh,
But for someone to put that down in the comments and fervently believe that statement in the United States of America,
but you know
as
why it's that way though? It's because,
that may be true, but in our First Amendment, free speech, freedom of religion,
right,
I get it. But you know that, like I said, there are common sense people that would look at a Hindu swastika and be
yeah,
like, that is not even remotely close. As you saw from those variations, how many Jews do you think are going to do it?
yeah,
Not many. Not many that don't pander, I should say.
yeah,
It's just common sense, and I
right,
get it. You're talking about someone whose family didn't receive their citizenship till the 50s.
mm-hmm.
Probably the 60s, but still. We were illegal during World War II. We were enemy agents during World War II. I love that.
Go, well,
But I mean, even there, I mean, should I be upset about the U.S. flag? No. I mean, so
you see, that's what I'm saying though. It, if you have it in your garage, because when I see it in his garage, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't bother me there, but don't be trying to fly it.
yeah. Well, and that's what I'm saying.
Shit, you know what I'm saying? Because you call yourself a patriot, then why are you flying a flag of it's why,
Yeah, yeah.
you
And
know?
that's why I say the
Yeah, if you want
compromise for that
to,
flag
you have
should
that.
be in your domicile.
Yeah, be my guest. Who cares?
Yeah,
And then just don't teach, and but I feel like, a lot of things have been said and taught. Like, you know, somebody was saying that Southern pride is racist. I don't necessarily agree with that statement.
oh, I know, and I gave you two reasons why.
Yeah, exactly.
On the
But
contrary, but yeah,
yeah,
the reason why that flag is flown is for racism.
and that's
We,
what it runs
as
with.
a nation, need to come together and forgive. Like I've always told you, the African American community needs to take page from Asians. Either set up your own little zones within cities,
Right.
you know, that, again, the projects and the ghettos.
Right.
Create your own little alcove right
Right.
there. Chinatown, Koreatown, Little Tokyo, and that's just in LA, New York, all that. Asians, we separate ourselves from everyone else. Not because we want to, you know, be rude and disrespectful.
Right.
It's because we know the limits of our own.
Right.
You know, it's not, and it's funny because I watch these, I watch all this happen, you know, and I'm like, yeah, you don't see the Asians in these talks because they're like, nope, we got our piece of America.
Right.
It was reminiscent of the 1992 LA riots when they literally tried to go into Koreatown, Chinatown, and Little Tokyo, and the Asians were out there in force and told them, if you come near our boundary, we will shoot you. And we are seeing that today. But here's the thing, though. Forgiveness.
Right.
Forgiveness is the key. Understanding.
What do you think what do you think the issue? Well, let me see here.
Well, you already know the issue.
What's the issue?
Sensitivity. Let's be honest here. You can't forgive because sensitivity. Yes, we understand that, you know, a good chunk until the 1800s, until the Civil War. Yes, African Americans were enslaved.
Right.
You can't say the whole 250 something years.
Right.
They weren't established that long. It was 100 and something. It was like 80, 90 years.
Right.
Since the establishment of the country.
Okay.
I mean, I get it. From the failure of Reconstruction all the way up to the marching of Martin Luther King Jr.
Right.
The fiery speeches, which we were warned about by Malcolm X, about liberalism and multiculturalism. But and then you want to add those. All right, fine. Add that 100 years together too.
Right.
That's 190 something years. Yes, no one, and I repeat, no one will ever find anybody, you know, at first lovable.
Yeah.
You know, no one will. No one will. I'm pretty sure you get shit for how you look. You know you do.
Yeah.
I gave you shit. It's like I give my wife shit.
I mean, yes. I mean, yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, yes, we get it. All right. African Americans get the short end of the stick. But then I think about it, and this is an honest to God's truth right here. Natives, they get the bigger shit end of the stick. No one thinks about that. You see, that's the one thing I've never understood, right? You want to talk about injustice. You know, yeah, Reconstruction was a shitty time for African Americans. The rise of the KKK, lynchings, all that. Wholesome, God-loving shit that should have never occurred.
Yeah.
Reconstruction was done correctly, it would have been a military occupation of the South. If it was done correctly, you would have changed the whole mindset of the South. Believe that. Militias would have been ran properly. The KKK would have been put into insolvency. But that wasn't the mind frame of the time. That time was, what can we do? to effectively end this.
How do you feel about the statues?
Oh, good thing we're now we're segueing. See, I like that segue. um, so okay.
What's your take on that? Because for me, um, I mean, to be honest, I'll just be completely honest with you. I didn't even know what happened. We're even fucking there.
Because no one goes
But
out and looks. That's the
I
problem.
know. And um, I mean, I don't know. It just for me, and I'm not, I guess it just didn't bother me because, like you said, wasn't going looking for him, and you know, it's one of them type of situations where I knew they were there, didn't know where, didn't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't really, you know.
Oh,
So the ones that,
I'll
so
take
the
the
ones
petty
that,
route on this one. I will
what?
take the fucking petty route.
Take the
Keep
petty
those
route.
bitches up. That
Take the
way
petty route.
I can travel the country as a father
Mm-hmm.
and supposed to be the number one teacher of my son.
Right.
Fortunately, he's getting that foreign ELS trade off,
Yeah.
No, so I can go around the fucking South and be like, son, you see this statue right here? Failure. Fucking failure, son. Couldn't even make a good campaign. Oh, I would be going after the Union generals too.
Yeah.
If I found a statue of McClellan, I'd be like, failure, son. Failure. Didn't believe in taking risks. Almost lost us the fucking war.
Right.
I think people forget how petty that shit was.
Yeah.
Both sides wanted to obliterate each other. They wanted to make it a Christmas war. Like everybody does. I get it.
Yeah.
It wasn't, that's never in the cards. That's just, and yeah, I'd be petty as fuck. I'd be going around. I'd be like, son, that's fake. That is fake. That is fake. There is no goddamn brick and mortar place in the South that is from the old court because we blew that shit to smithereens. I think it's funny that no one understands the scope. Hey, you want to talk about, destroying a racial memory from existence? What we did to the South. People don't get it. They think it was just march in and we got the territory.
No.
We blew those states up. We destroyed those railroads until we could secure all the lines.
Well, they were screwed anyway though when they succeeded because they didn't have the infrastructure needed to sustain a war with the North.
But you get my premise here. I consider that a petty route. Keep those bitches up, so I can tell my son, this is the attitude you shouldn't have. And I get it. I get the gripe, but don't tear down every fucking statue. Yeah. They took down Ulysses S. Grant, right?
Yeah, I know. I saw that, and then
it's like,
they
and I told my wife about that.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, what did he do?" You already know my eyes are fucking bugged. Like, what?
Okay, that response would be, in a nutshell, was going around tearing up shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Meaning, a lot of them, I feel, not a lot, but most, there's out there, they see an opportunity to, and they take it, and that's that.
Well, I think one of the best quotes I ever heard is, if you take what happened historically into the present day lens,
Mm-hmm.
no country can ever absolve itself of its sins. No government can ever truly not have a blemish.
Right.
So, I mean, and sometimes I wonder, do people want this nation to be a nation?
I do. I believe they do.
I would hope so. But when you put history into a modern lens, I mean, you're either ignorant, stupid, or just don't want this country at all. Because we wouldn't have been a country.
Right.
I mean, you know, it's abhorrent what the founding fathers did.
Mm-hmm.
Don't attack George Washington. If it wasn't for him, there wouldn't be a U.S.
Right.
It'd be the United States colonies of Britain. We'd be the UK right now. But and that's and that's why I say, the statue. That's why I put that in there, is because
Right.
you're ignoring history. Obviously, history can be rewritten because it has. All those ignorant fucks that say history cannot be ignored or rewritten obviously did not learn history.
Mm-hmm.
Because it can, and it has been, and it still will. I was telling Crystal the other day, I feel bad for my grandchildren.
Why?
Because when they learn about Iraq and Afghanistan and the global war on terrorism,
Mm-hmm.
and how their granddad had a part in it, menial logistical part, but still a part in it, am I going to be a genocidal maniac with the rest of the troops? The way we're going down, I mean, the way it's going down now, I don't see that I'll be looked at a good limelight by my grandchildren.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, that is something that is out your control, though, and how they feel about it and look at it. But I mean, why would you be viewed that way?
Well, because if we can
Why
rewrite,
do you? Why do you think? Because the way they wrote it.
yeah, exactly, the way it gets lost to history.
Well.
Because again, like I said, if we can turn the Civil War from a fight against the election of a president who the southern states really thought was going to do the Emancipation Proclamation within the first 100 days, and correspondence, we have actual lithographs of the papers. Some papers have been preserved. That literally say Lincoln, if elected, would abolish slavery. This was a real threat for them. And then it becomes states' rights.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and can I control it? I believe I can control some of the narrative, yeah.
Okay.
But again, that's why I said forgiveness. Forgiveness. If I kept my grandfather's attitude, my son would just fucking hate that flag and this nation, everybody in it. if I decided to go the way I was raised, instead of looking, there's good in everybody. And my grandfather didn't hate the people; he hated the government.
Mm-hmm.
He hated the fucking government for what the government did to his family. He hated the government, for everything that they put them through for those 4 years.
Right.
And then the fact that some people group us all together too. So that's the one thing that we can't escape. But it's again forgiveness.
Right.
Like my grandfather said, there's a First Amendment for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
We may not like it, but it's there. We're not. You make your own decisions in your own fate.
Right.
That is something that we can control. You all right there? My dog just came in. All right. But
So just want next to you.
Yeah, just lays next to me.
Yeah.
She loves me. But no, but yeah, there are some things that we can't control. And revising history is one of them.
Right.
But I mean then again,
Mm-hmm.
there are some stuff that maybe you want to whitewash. Just maybe. I mean, killing of prisoners of war. Yes, that is something you want to whitewash. You get what I mean, though?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I can think of a few 100 days of a campaign where it happens. It happens. Should we whitewash everything? No. That's why in the South, a lot of our generals are looked at as criminals.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we look at the South as criminals.
Right.
That's the one thing that did not get whitewashed is that whole war.
Right.
All right. And the fact that it's not so much the fog of war. I would say until World War II, no one really had, until the present day, no one really cared or had a handle on what the Geneva Conventions were and are.
Mm.
And that's why in the first episode, I also brought that up.
Right.
With these protesters.
Mm-hmm.
Because of what they were saying. Measure your words. And that's classic coming from me. But I say that to people who call themselves protesters and civil rights warriors and social justice warriors.
Right.
They honestly just go passion, guns blazing. I do too. Right, wrong, whatever. But at least I accept that I get looked at as a piece of shit for my view. They can't handle the fact that if they really want to be looked at as enemies of the states, they will have no rights.
Right. Well,
no, and you don't. It's that the whole problem is this. All right.
Right.
Criminals get rights. Yeah, they're violated every fucking day, but they still get rights. So that the sad part is they're violated. All right, that's the sad part, is we have a system where prison guards can violate prisoners' rights. Should it happen? No, but it does. It's a small microcosm in a whole galaxy. It's just like what happens here on Earth. We're just a small bucket of water. But because we live somewhere, it's the whole world to us. And yeah, it sucks, but I know I'm going deep. I am going deep in this shit.
That's okay. I mean, I'm just thinking, there's some things that I'm just thinking about, and
I'll bring them up to the forefront. Don't let me.
no, Go ahead. You're fine. You're fine.
It's starting to look like the break room again.
I know how we used to just sit and talk and
uh,
chill.
which
We'd
is
be in.
good because that's why I wanted you as my co-host on this, is because of that. All right, so before I go any more on a tangent, all right, statues, keep them up. That's my opinion. Um, keep them up, and you can give your version of history. All right. Because I'm going on a tangent, and
No, you're
I
fine.
can go long on those tangents.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else on the statues?
Nothing really. I mean, like I said, for me, it was just like a, you know, one of those you don't want to know. No, I'm not even gonna say that. Just they're there. They're there. They've been there all this time. I mean, and it's not bad with change. I understand. For me, it was just like, hey, for me, it doesn't bother me if they're up or they're down.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like they're up, they're down. Because to me, that's not gonna reflect if we don't change as a society. We have to educate ourselves on a lot of things. We have to educate ourselves and our youth, and whether the statue's up or down, if the same ignorance is running around being rampant, it's not going to matter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, I know.
So, and even if they, and if you do educate, people and so forth, so on, and they understand what that general was and represented and was about, just for me, they're up, they're down, they're down. But, unfortunately, they're coming down, and that's just where it's at right now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh. Yeah, and you make a. You do make a good view. It doesn't matter if they're up or down. They're there. Like I said, keep them up. You can have your historical perspective, whatever you want. You want to look at these guys like they're the greatest fucking people on earth, fine.
and sure, but that's an opinion anyway. That's an opinion. But by all means, educate. You know,
Oh yeah, no,
edu-
you're right. You are correct, and it's no one can have an opinion anymore.
right.
It's amazing. All right, tangent time. Fuck it, tangent time. No one can have a goddamn opinion. It's fucking sad. It's that's one thing I've always respected is we can have our opinions, agree or disagree.
Right.
Opinions are verified. um, but yeah. So, um, shall we go on to the next bill?
Um, Probably should wrap up, but yeah, we'll wrap it up. Um, what are you doing tomorrow?
Doing um work in the morning.
Okay. Okay. What time you get off?
I don't know. I like to do 8 hours. So
Okay. Um, what time you think? What time you think you'll be home?
probably 7 o'clock at night.
Oh, okay. Hmm. Maybe we can do a little something tomorrow evening then.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
About this second last part, or this last part, and we'll wrap. We'll leave off there, and then we'll finish up with the tomorrow.
All
And
right.
if you're tired or whatever, we'll figure it out. I mean, we'll figure it out. We'll get it going.
this uh this is why I love this. This is why I love this. 'Cause we figure it out eventually.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. So, want to jump on for an hour tomorrow?
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
And we can bang it out. So, but
well,
yeah, man.
that is it for part 1.
Yes, indeed.
Part 2 tomorrow.
Yeah. So for the people watching, go ahead and leave your feedback. Talk to us what you guys think. Just your opinions. Go into depth about it. Because our main thing is what we want to do is get people talking. Because I feel like the biggest thing right now is that nobody's talking and trying to understand each side and to learn about you know each side. I feel like we have, like I said in the last video, we have the same destinations. We all want the same thing. We just have different means of modes of transportation to get there, but we're all eventually going to end up in the same place. So you guys just, let us know what you guys think. Leave feedback in the comments. If there's something you guys want us to touch on or ask questions, by all means, please do. Yeah.
Don't forget to take Matt to the task. Take him to task. Take his ass to the shed. Because God knows I already get taken anyway. So. All right, Matt. See you tomorrow.
All right, man.
Another hour.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching Apolitical Corner.